Can you really envision every prominent Democrat in this country from all 50 states inside a hot arena 104 days from now?
It's hard to envision that.
104 days from now, it seems so close in time, right? Well, the Democrat convention isn't until, is it July or August? I thought it was in August, but I guess it's in July. But party leaders are actually supportive of canceling it. Since no one knows if we'll still be under lockdown in 3 months, don't even contemplate that, but I guess you have to. Why would they preemptively axe such an important event? Well, one possible reason, to keep Joe Biden from embarrassing himself. Joining me now is Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz and Dan Bongino, Fox News contributor, host of the Dan Bongino Show podcast. All right, Congressman Gaetz, they just don't want Biden on that big stage, do they? This is becoming wildly obvious.
The Joe Biden campaign is sort of like a weekend at Bernie's experience because he continues to be propped up despite a real lifelessness in his effort. And by the way, it's perhaps Joe Biden's failures as a candidate that animate the left's desire to get these vote-by-mail provisions in coronavirus legislation so that they're able to have the mechanism of voting that even MIT professors are saying is the most susceptible to fraud. So a bad candidate resulting in a policy agenda to try to, I think, create the greatest opportunity for fraud in our election system.
Yeah, Dan, I want you to get in on this because Joe Biden referenced the drive-through voting issue last night on MSNBC. Check it out.
This is about making sure that we're able to conduct our democracy while we're dealing with a pandemic. We can do both. It may mean a difference in the way we do it. It may mean that social distancing doesn't get it done. It may mean that you have a circumstance where you have drive-in voting, literally, you pull up and you have vote. There's a lot of ways to do it.
Dan, maybe you can just honk once for Trump and twice for Biden. Okay, what do you think? It's a good idea.
Yeah, maybe next you can just do it by phone and, hit up 1 for Biden, 2 for Trump. I mean, Laura, do you understand what a voting security, voter integrity catastrophe this would be? I mean, there's almost nothing to prevent massive voter fraud if they would implement something like that. And it tells you everything, by the way, you need to know about the Democrat Party, that they tried to slide this in on this stimulus bill. Listen, can we just be candid? We're broke, okay, as a country. I'm sorry to break the bad news to the audience, but we are broke. We are $22 trillion in debt. Our GDP is about $22 trillion. I understand the need for bridge loans. I understand the need for the unemployment insurance. These workers out there in businesses is by no fault of their own. It's not bad business decisions. The government shut them down. But trying to slide in voter provisions, Green New Deal compliant airplanes, $25 million for the Kennedy Center, and ballot harvesting into a bill tells you everything you need to know about this broken shell of a once proud party. JFK would be embarrassed by this party today.
And Congressman Gaetz, this is what a lot of folks are now talking about. Now that people understand we don't know the true infection rate of this virus because most people who had mild symptoms, they already have immunity to it, and other people just have immunity to it. So we really don't know the baseline of this virus. They're saying to themselves, wait a second, we don't know how deadly this is. We want to protect life, but to keep a shutdown going, listening to Cuomo, this thing is going to go on until July today. You really listen to what he's saying. They're going to kick this thing into the fall, and people are, they keep going this way. You're not going to send your kids to school in the fall either.
Well, fortunately, the virus isn't going to listen to politicians. What I can tell you in Florida is in the area where we have the most infection, Miami-Dade County, the hospitalization rate is only 6%. The morbidity and mortality rate far, far below that, looking more like the flu in terms of the mechanism by which you would calculate those rates once we determine the ultimate denominator. But when you look at what Dan just mentioned about the Democrats trying to chip away at their agenda, it's hard to argue that their strategy in some ways has worked. Democrats got $350 million in the COVID bill for migrant and refugee assistance and relocation, a lot of which wasn't even in this country. It was in other parts of the world. And so when you give on some of those issues, it fuels ambition for Nancy Pelosi and Democrats that they could continue their social engineering experiments through this crisis response legislation. Right. And I think, if anything, it has to harden our position that we have to have these clean bills, no more of this nonsense, and let's make them wear it if they insist on including it.
Yeah, no, let them own it. And Dan, this moment from today's COVID presser, watch.
Over 5 million immigrants in this country do pay taxes through their IT numbers, yet they will not receive any money in their stimulus package. And how do you suppose they survive during the COVID-19?
Well, you know, you're saying undocumented, meaning they came in illegally. And a lot of people would say we have a lot of citizens right now that won't be working. So what are you going to do? It's a tough thing. I'm not going to give you a hard and fast answer, because I just want to tell you it's something I think about, and it's something we're working on.
I said it's something they'll look at. Now, Dan, that's if the administration green lights money to illegal immigrants out of this next phase 4, whatever, they're gonna be dealing with me, okay, on that issue. Thoughts?
No, they'll be dealing with a lot of people, Laura. I don't think the president would seriously sign off on something like this. I don't see any way possible. There is no way. He answered that the right way, but that's a big no. American citizens first.
Yeah, you see they're going for that, though. That's going to be the next big push, along with the voting issues that you guys so well explained for us. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Stay safe out there. Great to see you tonight.